Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, hello. How are you? I'm Gabriella, and this is GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. Today, I'm bringing to you an incredible lady who has such an interesting background and does something that I learned today as a unique area that every single one of you need to learn and hear about, because what a benefit that all of us can learn from Abigail Tiefenthaler. How are you today?
I'm great and honored to be here.
Oh, I am super honored to have you here as well. You have a fabulous clientele that benefits from every single thing that you do. So, will you tell our audience about you and your expertise?
I call myself a client getter. So, what that means basically is my business partner is a woman by the name of Tammy. She lives in Minnesota. I live in Tennessee, and we work with coaches, speakers, consultants to help them identify where the missing piece is to their marketing and client getting puzzle. So, is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it the marketing before the marketing? And we work one on one with clients to help them identify what they need to be more effective.
Well, and what I love about this is so often we find ourselves in these conversations around lead gen, which is important, but there's so much more to it than just the narrow focus of lead gen. And what you do is not just lead gen.
And you're absolutely right. What I tell a lot of my clients is that not all marketing is created equal.
Mhm.
So it really is important to bring that constant influx of leads in. But
Right.
then what happens with that lead? And why are they coming in? And where are they going? See, the questions just get deeper and deeper.
And very often, when we're out there trying to run a business and do sales, and we're doing all these different things, we're just like, just give us people and we'll figure out how to make them into clients. And then the frustration sets in. And having someone like you that can parse it out and take you through a process is amazing.
It comes from 80 years of combined marketing and business development experience. One of the things that we've really identified, especially in the coaching and consulting, the service-based industries, is that people come with up with an idea or they come up with a program and then they want to go and start selling it. They don't think they're selling it because they really don't want to be salesy, but they want clients. So they end up having to sell it.
Right.
And what they're missing is that marketing is the people mover of their business. So
Right.
if they understood better marketing would lead to better sales conversations and actually more sales, they could see that whole continuum. But our industry is filled with skill set experts who are selling one piece of the puzzle. We help them at least identify all of the pieces of the puzzle, and then they can figure out, do they need to create a course? Do they need to learn how to speak? Do they need to, be better networkers, whatever it is?
Absolutely. So you mentioned 80 years combined experience. Tell us about your background and what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm a one trick pony. I have spent my entire 62 years in a marketing family. My father was a madman, one of those Madison Avenue guys before he started his own agencies as I was growing up. My mother actually, when I was 6 or 7, decided to start doing fulfillment services for my dad and actually
Oh.
started a marketing business. So I grew up in the industry. My guidance counselor in 10th grade asked me if I was going to college, number one. And I said, yes. And he said, what are you going to college for? Number two. And I looked at him like he had 6 heads. And I said, marketing. Is there anything else? I have an undergraduate degree in marketing and I have a master's in business management with an emphasis in strategic marketing. So it comes to me pretty honestly, organically, and academically.
That's incredible. I think a lot of people don't have that. They think they want to do something and they find themselves going somewhere else entirely. And the other thing that's really incredible about that is it's the whole package. Like, a lot of people are only in narrow focused areas and not able to create the whole picture of the puzzle for their clients.
It's an interesting phenomena that's happened more in the last 10 years. But when I first started in the early 80s, people would have a product or a service And they would go to an agency, and the agency created the strategy, they created the graphics and the whole positioning. They did all the execution, the media planning and media buying. They got involved in merchandising, they got involved in promotion, right? PR, different things. Today, for some reason, a lot of small business owners don't think they need that. So what's missing is the strategy. What's missing is that upfront piece that helps them identify where should they be investing their time, their energy, and their money.
A lot of smaller businesses may not feel that they can afford to hire the agency as a full-time kind of a situation, or they think that they need to hire somebody full-time to do sales, and you don't. You can do it in a fractional way.
Right. Well, and here's the response that I would normally give somebody who says our services might be considered expensive
Mhm.
is okay, so go do it on your own for a year and see how far you get.
Right.
Because that's the problem today, is that there is just so much noise. You have to be disruptive. There is so many ways to focus your energy. You have to focus even from a sales perspective. And you bring up a great point, is we do provide fractional sales for some of our clients because they want to be a coach. They don't want to be a salesperson. They're uncomfortable in that arena. They don't like their calendar being filled with sales appointments. They're busy with their coaching practice, and they just believe that somebody can represent them and help them drive that relationship into a sales conversation better than they can.
So before we started the interview, I was asking you about your inspiration and your influences, and you kind of already started to mention that. Would you like to share with our audience about those?
Yeah, I will tell you, I know, a lot of people are inspired by a teacher or a professional figure. And I had probably the best teaching grounds I could have in my home. My father, when he went out on his own, I spent weekends working at his agency. My mother, she would do a project. She might have 30,000 mailings that had to be done. And I was 7, 8 years old. And so I could zip code sequence. I was the fastest one who could collate pieces. And I did it because I enjoyed it, number one. Number two, I made a little bit of money. So I always had money as a kid. And number three, when my parents were having dinner conversations, I understood it. Our weekends, my parents owned a summer house, and our weekends were filled with clients who came to spend the weekend. Every client became a friend, it seemed. And that's the way Tammy and I run our businesses. We treat our clients like family. They are good, bad, and ugly. They're family, right? And good friends. And so I'm hard pressed to really find somebody else that I can say has really helped me be who I am. I mean, the icing on the cake was my parents were actually my employees in my business before I was in partnership with Tammy for 5 years. So they're both gone now. They were truly mavericks in the industry.
That's incredible. Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them. You've all heard and you know how powerful it is to send thank you cards, notes of appreciation, and gifts that build and maintain relationships. However, writing and sending generic impersonal greetings and gifts one by one just is so overwhelming and takes so much time. Not to mention, these days, who wants to deal with lines at the post office, running out of stamps, or having to print stamps yourself? And then there's the embarrassment of missing an important date altogether. Yikes. So what can you do? If you go to marketyourbiz.guru, you will be able to get help with your greetings and gifts that are printed, stamped, stuffed, and mailed automatically for you. Make sure that you tell them Gabriella sent you.
Introducing Boost by GoV, a high-end, first-in-class fuel catalyst tablet that is taking the world by storm. How would you like to save money on gas and go further on every single tank? The new MPG is here. Get more miles per gallon, boost power and performance, and reduce emissions and exhaust. What would you say if you could pay less and make fewer trips to the gas pump? It's time to wake up and get on the move. What are you waiting for? Get more out of life and join the GoV experience today. Scan the QR code or check the show notes for more information.
So if you were able to go back and give yourself one piece of advice to help you along your path, what would that be?
The biggest piece of advice I think I would give my younger self is that I wish I would have started earlier. I spent 15 years, I always say, bucking the system in corporate. I was truly the bull in the china shop. I had a seat in the room, but not a seat at the table. But that didn't seem to stop me from opening my mouth and then getting dirty looks from my management. So I've always been a little bit of a renegade. So I would tell my younger self I probably should have just used that voice, out on my own.
So, you did start your own business, and that's amazing. And congratulations. And I agree. We both probably should have started our own businesses long before we did.
Right.
Many of the people that are listening to these episodes are salespeople, entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are trying to get their foot in the door or out in the world. Let's talk about any tips and advice that you would give them towards their success.
Persistence and consistency are the two cornerstones, at least to my success. I called on Hershey Foods for 4 years before I got business. I
Wow.
called on a pharmaceutical company for 52 weeks in a row, became friends with the admin who I was calling. And when she finally said, "Oh, yes, Barbara," her boss, wanted to meet with us, I said, "No, no, no, you have me mistaken with somebody else." So for all of the work we do, it really is a matter of showing up persistent and consistent. And that's in your marketing, that's in your personal persona, and in your sales persona. Just everything you do wants to mirror the same thing so that people feel they know you and they can trust you because you're not a moving target to them.
Well, there's a saying that it used to be 5 to 7 interactions before somebody would even consider potentially buying from you. And now that's probably minimum 15 to 20 interactions or touches and outreaches to people. What other advice would you share with our audience?
To not be afraid to be yourself, to not be afraid to take those challenges that you may have struggled with at some point in your career and use them. I was just on the phone with a client before this call,
Yeah.
and she was saying, "This was horrid. I don't even, I've been trying to block it out." And I go, "No, I want you to look at the positive, the bigger door that's been opened, the fact that you've really identified what your non-negotiables are,
Mm,
that you really understand that in order to have a voice, it's got to be a voice from you and not from somebody else." So I'm a half full glass kind of girl to
right.
begin with. But I would tell you that every struggle that you've had has probably made you a stronger person, a more committed business owner.
Mm.
And from that perspective, use those challenges to catapult you to the next level, as opposed to drag you down and put you behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do. Like, it's very easy to let ourselves be dragged down and get into story and get out of alignment. So that is really, really great advice.
And it's one of the reasons why you need support, because the right support is going to keep you elevated. That doesn't mean you won't occasionally go down a rabbit hole of your own, but it will keep you elevated.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really great advice. And, it's something I talk about all the time. The industry I came from is very often one of the first things that gets delegated out from a business owner, and understanding that having an outside of your own business support system is really critical to success. Before we go ahead and wrap up this conversation, is there any other advice that you'd like to share?
Have fun. I don't think even the best entrepreneurial schools in the world that provide degrees teach you what it's like to be an entrepreneur. It is truly, a baptism by fire, if you will. So I would tell you to just embrace the roller coaster ride because it's worth it at the end.
Well, we get into it because it resonates with us. We want something that we enjoy, but then we don't have fun. So I think that's fantastic advice to remind everybody, you got into it for a reason, go have fun with it.
Stay connected to that reason.
Absolutely. On each episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts, we like to highlight a hero sponsor who is a business that chooses to highlight a do-good organization in their own community that is bettering the world. Today's hero sponsor is...
Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Raisman, the owner of thefunofworkingout.com. I'm a Beachbody coach, and on that website, you could try Beachbody workouts out at no cost. But today I want to highlight a wonderful nonprofit outside of Philadelphia. Keystone Opportunity Center provides food, housing, and education to over 5,000 people a year in Montgomery and Upper Bucks County. On their website, www.keystoneopportunity.org, you can learn about the mission, hear client stories, and learn how you can volunteer and support them. Again, my name is Alan Raisman, the owner of thefunofworkingout.com. I'm a Beachbody coach, and you can go to my website where you can try Beachbody out completely free. Thank you.
So where can we find more information about you so that we can reach out to you and see if there's a fit to work with you?
We have a website, SavySalesStrategy.com. It's a good place to start. There's a freebie on it.
Awesome. And you're also on social media as well, right?
Yes. And here's the great news. There is nobody else named Abigail Tiefenthaler that I have come across so far on social media, but LinkedIn and Facebook are the two best places. I'm not so active on Instagram.
So we'll get the links below in the show notes and the description so people can click on those and reach out to you. And then you have an offer to share with our audience as well.
We work one-on-one with our clients. And the best way to see if you're in a place where we might be a good fit for you, and quite honestly, if you're in a place where you're a good fit for us, is to have a strategy session. And I know a lot of people think that's code for selling you something, but Tammy and I both take our own strategy calls, and we're not trying to sell you something. We're trying to solve and provide a solution for you.
That's awesome. So again, we will get the links for that down below in the notes and in the description. So you guys can click on those. Make sure you reach out to Abigail. You are not going to regret it. She has a wealth of information, and you know, she's been doing this, as she pointed out, her entire life. So she knows what she's talking about, and you know, she's just a very incredible lady to get to know. I'm super happy that I got to interview you today. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit your reminder so you know when our next episode is airing. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.